I know someone who does not watch TV news, whether national or local, does not read a newspaper, and conscientiously avoids discussing politics, religion, or even sports. Self-employed, my friend found out something called the coronavirus, which, by the way, likely leaked from a communist China lab. He found out about it while driving to work the day the California lockdown mandates took place. Not until then did he even know about it. And that morning, he shockingly encountered no traffic on the normally busy streets of Los Angeles. I know this seems unthinkable for somebody in his mid to late 30s to erect news blinders, given that he, like everybody else his age, owns a smartphone on which he conducts business, and that he maintains a Facebook page to keep up with friends and families. Yet he does not know what's going on. He does not know that since Joe Biden became president, some 5 million illegal aliens enter the country from over 100 foreign countries, with whereabouts unknown for most of them. Border officers stopped and arrested dozens on the terror watch list, no telling how many entered undetected. My friend does not know that America faces a crisis of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that, according to the CDC, is stronger than heroin by as much as a factor of 50 and morphine by as much as a factor of 100. China supplies a precursor, and Mexican cartels process, manufacture, and bring it into the country. At 64,000 deaths among those aged 18 to 49 in 2021, fentanyl killed more than those who died from COVID, cancer, and car accidents combined. The number of fentanyl deaths is twice that of 2019. My friend knows nothing about this. He knows nothing about the weaponization and collusion of the DOJ and big tech social media platforms used to attack conservatives, stifle dissent about vaccine and mask mandates, and suppress cost-benefit debate about the lockdown harm to lives and businesses, and the student learning loss suffered through virtual versus in-school learning. He knows nothing about Communist China's growing aggression, its increasing power throughout the world, our growing dependence on China for things not made here. You know, we rely on China for vital rare earth minerals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel used in cell phones and electric vehicle batteries that are either mined in China or in places like China's or in places under China's control, like the Congo in Africa. My friend knows nothing about this. Post Biden's disastrous pullout of Afghanistan, Russia invaded Ukraine with Chinese support, and the world and peace are imperiled to a degree unlike any seen since World War II. I think he knows about the invasion of Ukraine, but I could be wrong about that. He knows nothing about how Iran, the world's largest sponsor of terror, stands on the brink of achieving its goal of making a nuclear bomb. He knows nothing about inflation, still at 40-year highs, has decreased the value of bank holdings, a major contributing factor that caused the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank, the Signature Bank of New York, and threatens the solvency of several more. He is oblivious to today's cancerous cancel culture in higher academia, where professors who publicly disagree with things like reparations, race-based preferences, and critical race theory and the DEI agenda face not only denunciation by students and faculty, but also possible termination by school administrators. Now, my friend cannot help but know about high gas prices that he pays, but knows nothing about the contributing factor, namely Biden's attack on oil and gas and Biden's imposition of green agenda anti-fossil fuel policies and regs. My friend has a short drive to work in a fairly safe area of the city and therefore knows virtually nothing about rising crime, including rising violent crime and the soft on crime policies by the Los Angeles County DA. The denunciation of systemically racist police triggered an upsurge in crime, not just here in LA, but also in cities all around the country. Now, as for California, well, it has the country's highest state income tax, ranks near the bottom in K through 12 government schools, despite spending over $20,000 per student, has an annual budget deficit of $20 billion, and an unfunded pension liability at over $1.5 trillion, the highest in the nation. California housing prices at 175% are above the national average. It is a big reason why California in the last 3 years experienced a net population loss of 500,000 people. My friend knows virtually nothing about any of this. And this reminds me of a story. A chain smoker grew tired of reading newspapers that warned cigarette smoking caused cancer. So he decided to stop reading newspapers. So who knows? Maybe my friend has a point. And that's the elder statement. Got a question for you. Are you concerned with stock market volatility?
Markets closing in on their worst year since the financial crisis.
Since 2020, the Dow closed down more than 1,100 points.
Financial markets had their worst day since the start of the pandemic.
Do you really trust this economy?
The U.S. economy could be headed for a recession.
Tonight, the alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
What if you can invest in a portfolio with a high fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market? Well, you can turn your monthly income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose, and get this, there is no loss of principal if you need your money back, and absolutely no fees. Just log on to investyrefy.com. Folks, I personally invest with my own money with YRefy. So log on to investyrefy.com or call 888-YRefy24. That's 888-YRefy24. All the House Democrats voted against a bill that requires parents to be notified if a school encourages children to transition to a different gender. Now, second only to the race card, Democrats like AOC love to whip out the fascism card to voice their opposition, as she did on this issue.
They are asking the Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican proposal. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism.
So, a bill that requires schools to notify parents if a kid wants to transition from his or her gender to a different gender is fascism? A morning TV anchor was fired for quoting Snoop Dogg. Her name is Barbie Bassett. She's with the NBC affiliate WLBT, and she's been missing in action for weeks from the anchor desk and has been removed from the station's website as a member of the news team. The station put out the following statement: "As I am sure you can understand, WLBT is unable to comment on personnel matters," end of quote. Nizzle, which we'll come to in a second, said the New York Post is slang for the N-word, and Bassett, who is white, also tweeted the phrase in 2011. In October 2022, she apologized after referring on air to a black person's grandmammy. Bassett apologized, saying, quote, "Though not intentional, I now understand how my comment was both insensitive and hurtful. I have apologized to Carmen Poe," close quote. Now let's get to her quoting Snoop Dogg. Watch this.
Up with.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Before we know it, she'd have a Snoop Dogg tattoo on her shoulder.
For shizzle, my nizzle.
I'm telling you. Julie, what do you think about that? She says.
Now, don't you think that's just a bit of an overreaction? Look, I'm not a Snoop Dogg connoisseur, don't have him on my playlist, but I have heard that expression before, and I had no idea that Nizzle meant the N-word. I bet she didn't either. But even if she did, Snoop Dogg is doing beer commercials, does all sorts of other commercials, did a commercial with Lee Iacocca and Chrysler, did a big lighter commercial with Martha Stewart, and hosted a game show. I mean, the man is Madison Avenue, for crying out loud.
A Corona and palm trees.
A Corona and calm seas.
And a bomb breeze.
Nice ride.
Thank you, Mocha Coca. Chrysler and Jeep came up on Buku Awards.
And Dodge trucks last as long as the Deagle Double Chisel.
Hey, Martha, pass me that big Easy Reach lighter in that bowl.
Bowl of strawberries.
Thanks. This is perfect for hard-to-reach places.
And it helps keep your fingers away from the flame.
This dude is about as anti-establishment as Kevin McCarthy. By the way, has Snoop Dogg gone to bat for her? After all, she was only quoting him by using a word that he's normalized. For this, she loses her job. Yo, Snoop, do you think this is fair? Or are you going to say something? Now, I know you love the show, so hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. We want to get our subscriptions up. And scroll down, you'll see where you can get on our mailing list. Why? Because believe it or not, from time to time, YouTube has issues with our feed. I don't know why, but to make sure you don't miss any of them, you got to be on our mailing list. Also, you see that donate button? Click that, throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure we can continue to giving you candid, hard-hitting programming. Larry with epoch.com, Larry with epoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. Remember, we've got a country to save. I'll see you next time.